I've always been paranoid. Seeing things just out of sight, hearing noises where none should exist, jumping at shadows conjured by my own mind. As a child, I spent countless nights in my parents' bed, driven away from my own by jeering faces hidden in the darkness. Premonitions of death constantly chase me, though none have ever come true. Until now. Perhaps just a byproduct of a naturally anxious mind, I told myself. But something's changed. It's worse at night. Much worse when I'm alone. I'm a college student, still living with my family, but they take frequent weekend trips, leaving me alone to watch the house and the dogs. So many times, I'd glanced up from the couch in the living room, only to see a figure staring down from the upstairs landing, only to vanish the moment I blink. I lock my bedroom door every night, checking under my bed, behind the dresser, anything to ensure I'm alone. But still, I wake to the sounds of footsteps and heavy breathing surrounding me in the pitch-black darkness. But that's my home. This place is different. I assumed my paranoia was playing tricks on me when my mother's friend asked me to house sit for a few days. I knew, deep down, that being in an unfamiliar house would make it worse. I agreed, anyway. The first day was uneventful. I watched pirated shows on my laptop, caught up on assignments I'd been putting off. The plants on the back porch needed watering. And the pet rat upstairs needed water, too. The stairs creaked beneath my feet as I climbed, leading to a hallway lined with doors. Two of them opened to children's bedrooms, where the rat's cage was. The door at the end was the guest room where I'd be staying. None of the doors had locks. Not a single one. A musty scent clung to the air, thick and suffocating. Upper floors have always frightened me. My grandparents' old house. Long, dark corridors lined with shelves filled with old dolls, their unblinking eyes watching, always watching. A children's playroom with ragged stuffed toys and a rocking horse that never seemed to stay still. And a bedroom with a crawl space door that was always locked, the handle threatening to turn on its own. There was a quilt on the bed, made by my long-dead great-grandmother. I always feared her spirit still lingered there. But that's not here. This house isn't haunted. There's nothing wrong with the upstairs, nothing wrong with the house at all. It's spacious. Too spacious. With too many hiding places. My mind was seeing danger where there was none. The rat. I felt sorry for it. Trapped in a cage, no toys, nothing but shredded newspaper reeking of its own filth. It trembled in fear when I reached in to refill the water, retreating to a cramped wooden hide. I wondered what it would be like, living at the mercy of an omnipotent hand, trapped within the confines of white wire. When I returned downstairs, I noticed the door to the parents' bedroom was open. It had always been open. I just hadn't noticed. Inside, hanging over the bed, was a portrait. A woman. Brown hair twisted into braids, sallow skin edged with wrinkles, a sharp nose. Her lips were pursed, and her cold gray eyes fixed on some unseen point to the lower right. Her pale brows furrowed in clear displeasure. She wore a gray turtleneck and sat against a black background. A void. She frightened me. I felt that at any moment, her head could turn, and those disapproving eyes would lock onto me. I tried not to think about the woman. But as night fell, and I gathered my things to head upstairs, I couldn't shake the feeling that her eyes were following me. The guest room was uncomfortably warm. The fan wouldn't turn on. The sheets on the bed were yellowed, the pillow flat. The air thick with that same musty scent. the light switch didn't work. And that's when the unease turned to fear. Light switches never work in my nightmares. A small lamp sat on the bedside table. It flickered, barely illuminating the room. The closet door wouldn't close, no matter how hard I pushed. And none of the doors had locks. None. I played some music, tried to calm my nerves. But sleep was fitful. My dreams twisted. I was here. At this house. In the dead of night, watching the news. A serial killer on the loose. A noise came from the parents' bedroom. I tried to turn on the lights, but the switch. It didn't work. I woke before dawn, heart pounding in my chest. I went outside to clear the pool sweepers, finding a frog trapped inside one. I set him under a bush, but he didn't move. I worried he was dead. But he was just frightened. Frightened. Just like me. The woman in the portrait hadn't shifted. Not that I could see. But I couldn't bring myself to close the bedroom door. In my mind's eye, I could see her moving about in the frame, and the thought of her unseen, behind a closed door, was far worse. I was alone. I had no friends, no one to call. My family. Tired of my fears, tired of me. They never called when they went away. I went upstairs to check on the rat. She hadn't touched her food. But her water was half gone. The bathroom sink sputtered when I refilled the bottle. Silverfish scuttled on the walls, swarming a dark spot in the corner of the ceiling. Drawn to the mold. The rat. She wasn't from a pet store. She was meant to be food for the ball python, whose cage sat across the room, separated by only a thin sheet of glass. I wondered if the rat knew. If she could sense the creature that was meant to be her doom, so close by. The day passed in a blur, the sun setting far too quickly, casting long, eerie shadows across the house. I gathered my things, preparing to head upstairs. But first, I peeked into the parents' bedroom. I needed to see the woman was still there. In her frame, the blackness of night reflected off the glass. It made the frame look empty. But that was impossible. I took a step forward, my feet sticking to the carpet. I ran my hand along the wall, searching for a light switch. But couldn't find one. My phone's flashlight flickered to life. I pointed it at the portrait. Only to see nothing but void. A primal fear gripped me. My heart pounded, my body trembling, phone slipping from my shaking hands. I had to get out. I stumbled to the front door, tugging at the lock, but it wouldn't budge. I yanked at the handle, slammed my shoulder against the door, pounded my fist on the window pane. But it was useless. She didn't want me to leave. Then, I heard it. The soft rustle of a dress behind me. I turned. And there she was. The woman from the portrait, walking down the hallway. She moved stiffly, arms and legs swinging wide like a soldier. Her dead gray eyes staring blankly forward. If she turned to the right, she'd see me. The only path left was up the stairs. I didn't want to go upstairs. But what choice did I have? I couldn't leave. All I could do was pray she didn't find me. My phone died, the screen fading to black as I crept to the base of the stairs. The woman didn't turn. I placed one foot. Then another. On the steps. None creaked. But there was no relief in that. As I reached the top, the rat began to squeak. Frantically, shaking the cage as she ran back and forth. My heart dropped into my stomach. I knew it was too late. The woman stopped. Her head twisted, neck creaking, her eyes searching. They found me. She moved toward the stairs, her gait unchanged, deliberate. She had no need to hurry. I was trapped. But I still ran. Ran to the guest room, slamming the door behind me. My shaking arms pushed the bed against the door, piling the nightstand on top. But it wouldn't be enough. I hid in the closet, the one with the door that wouldn't latch, and began to type, my fingers trembling. Someone needed to know. Anyone. Even if they didn't care. Even if they wouldn't warn me. Outside, I could hear her footsteps. Slow, steady. Getting closer. The rat had gone silent. She's at the door. I can hear her. Pushing it open. The bed screeches as it slides across the floor. She's coming. I don't know what she'll do to me. I think she'll take me into the void. Into that space where her hateful eyes are fixed. I think. Once I'm gone, I'll be forgotten. Hated. By her. For eternity. She's here. The door is opening. And I don't know what happens next. I never do.